All right, gentlemen, let's move straight to our next conversation. The courts remain the final arbiters of political disputes, but not all battles find footing in law. The Supreme Court of Nigeria has dismissed the appeal filed by Agboola Ajayi of the People's Democratic Party PDP challenging the candidacy of Ondo State Governor Lucky Aitedatiwa. In a judgment delivered by Justice Lawal Garba, the Apex Court ruled that Ajayi's case was found out of time and lacked legal standing as he was not a member of the All Progressives Congress APC. The court reaffirmed that party nomination processes are internal affairs and dismissed the case as unsustainable. Ajayi was also ordered to pay 2 million naira in cost to each of the 4 respondents. Now, Bikio, let's take a deep dive at the Supreme Court ruling. I mean, what were the things considered, by the Apex Court before reaching this verdict?
As far as the Supreme Court was concerned, anybody can change a name as long as they properly change that name. That means the processes were right.
Okay.
You can change a name. You can't say because in secondary school this was somebody's name, then in public life he cannot change it. He can change a name as long as it's on record that he properly changed his name. It can't be a basis to disqualify someone's victory, someone's victory in an election. So that's one point that the Supreme Court affirmed. The Supreme Court said the petition was baseless, frivolous, and lacking in merit as it was filed out of time. Now, the course of action that prompted the petition was on the 20th of May.
Okay.
You then proceeded to file an action with the Federal High Court on June 7th. That already exceeds the constitutionally guaranteed 14 days.
Okay, the 14 days
Any matter
guaranteed.
that you file outside the time ceiling that they've set,
Yes.
it's a waste of time. There's no court that you go to that will give you victory because you filed out of time. There's a time frame within which you can file a matter like this. Because at the end of the day, it's a pre-election matter. Okay. It's not based on the petition, based on the election, the conduct of the election itself. It's a pre-election matter which are not handled by election petitions tribunals. They are handled by the regular courts. Okay. But you must file within the time.
The 14-day period.
Yes.
Okay.
If the course of action was May 20, that is when they submitted their documents and all that to INEC.
Okay.
You now filed your complaint on June 7. You filed out of time. So the court had no choice to dismiss the petition. I think that generally it made no sense because I don't know why lawyers do this. Lawyers ought to brief their clients properly that, look, sorry, at this time we cannot file an action. It's too late to file an action. But you allow the client to waste his money, waste his time, you waste the time of the courts. And because the law is clear, the Supreme Court had no choice but to uphold the concurrent judgments from the lower courts, the Federal High Court to the appeal court. And then there was really no case.
In other words, the legal counsel should be held responsible for this.
Me, yes. For me, of course, costs were awarded to all of the respondents, so that's enough punishment judicially. For me, if you must stop an electoral victory, your complaint must be about the conduct of the election. Maybe certain steps were not taken that they should have taken and all that. Not dusting up somebody's documents and saying, oh, he was in secondary school, his name was Jackson, now he's And this was an election that Aiyedatiwa won by a huge landslide. A huge landslide. That is the verdict of the people. You want to change that verdict by looking for
one O that is not in the
I mean,
people.
I don't understand. Frankly, I don't understand.
In other words, like
We
wasting the time of the
our
courts.
Yes,
Exactly.
and the courts have, look at the Supreme Court, look at all the work that those old men and women do. Old men, because they don't even see anybody as a woman.
Exactly.
So all those men, look at all the work that they do. Every case
Goes
literally ends.
And the Supreme Court.
Yes.
Okay, Asuka, your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I think it's good that that was awarded, because this is a case that shouldn't have gone this far, you know. And anybody that is going to the tribunal must have cast stone or evidence, you know, whereby when once you are going to the court, you know that this is, and it has to be related to the election.
Not a pre-election matter, the election itself.
Yes, because even in terms of talking about forgery or whatever, the Supreme Court actually relied on a case between APC and Obaseki. Remember then, during that case, the APC said something about Obaseki forging certificates. Like didn't go to UI. And then they started bringing certificates. What they brought was photocopy sent to INEC. Meanwhile, the person the defendant actually brought his real certificate, original to the court. Okay. They say, okay, you that you are alleging that this person did not go to school or he forged a certificate. So, yeah, where is your own original? And they brought somebody from UI who confirmed that the one Obaseki, you know, brought was the original. So, if Agboola wanted to, you know, in any way, you know, say that Jackson is now Olabi, perhaps we should have gone to maybe where they sign affidavit, you know, to get an original or a document for him to prove himself. But he didn't, because Adelami actually proved that, oh yeah, that I changed my name from Jackson to Olabi, or with either way. You know, so you must always, people must understand that winning an election case is not usually easy, especially if you do not have evidence, especially when it's a pre-election matter. There is no point you going on a wild goose chase. Just go ahead, bring your evidence. And I feel that the justices will not look, you know, the other way if they know that your evidence are strong enough.
But don't you think the legal counsel should also be, you
no,
know,
those ones,
knowing that these things will not hold water?
They would see, you know, every election here, lawyers are always ready to go for election. They will always tell you that you will win a case. There's no lawyer that will go to court and will tell you that they will lose. But
should
case.
That be the norm?
So
knowing that they know you're not going to win.
No, they know, do you think they know that they will win?
No, not
don't think that they will lose.
They will say they will
win. They will win.
When they know.
Let me tell you, every lawyer wins a case. So you can't. So that is why they are lawyers. That's why they are lawyers. They will always want to prove. But it is when they now get to the Supreme Court will now tell them, no, these are the real facts. It lacked merit. You don't have local standard for you to, you know, to bring it to court. It is a pre-election matter, you know, and XYZ. And even fine them. Like now, he has been fined. Even when he was when he went to appeal court, they fined him. Now he has come to Supreme Court, they have also fined him again. So you can see, so... I mean,
knowing that the case is statute bad, you didn't file it within the 14-day window.
I think that one is even the most easiest.
The legal counsel would have, you know...
Yes, at that point, I think that is where the legal counsel would have just said, you know, there's no point moving further. But they will tell him that, okay, there's another way out. And that other way out is always, always the other way.
They file the law of frivolous
petitions. Exactly, wasting the time of the courts like this. You know. But we need to go on this quick